Today on the show, we have another Relentless Beats artist who I kind of gave away in the Econova episode, Ryan Shepard. Ryan, you've made some incredible music with tracks like Who's Gonna Love You with Heather Jensen, Fill Me In with Loud Luxury, which was released under Armin Van Buuren's label, Armada, and which also was rated one of the best dance tracks in 2017. Dude, it's a freaking honor to have you. How are you doing?
I'm good, dude. I'm good.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We were just talking a little bit before the interview. You have the COVID right now.
I do. I'm locked up. I'm in a hotel
Jesus.
room in Calgary, Alberta. But the symptoms are going away. I feel a lot better. Got my taste and smell back, which is nice.
Good.
But yeah, no, I got hit with it hard, man. That new Delta variant's no
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah,
No
it
joke.
sucks. Have you had it before, or is this the first time you
No,
had it? Okay.
never had it.
Okay.
I got single vax, and then in Canada they're kind of slow on the second one. So
Yeah.
it took us forever to get the first ones, and then fun enough, I was supposed to get it. My second one was scheduled for next week, of course.
Oh shit.
And yeah, so I ended up getting it out in Alberta here. So
Yeah. It's funny
Yeah,
that
man.
you mentioned Calgary. I actually got my very first tattoo in Calgary with my mom. It's a matching tattoo. Those who are watching on
Nice.
YouTube, I got a maple leaf tattoo on me. But
Love
I
that,
love
love
Canada,
that.
man. I went up to Banff. I went up to was in Calgary for I think we were there for like 14 days, 2 weeks, something like that. I have a buddy who originally was born and raised in Calgary, so we were there during the Stampede.
That was last week.
Yeah. So
it's a beautiful place, man. It's just
Oh my
I wish
gosh.
I got to enjoy it a little bit more instead of being in the inside of the hotel.
Right.
I can hear all the people enjoying it outside, and I'm right downtown. But yeah, I got to see the Stampede the first day I landed, and yeah, it's such a cool thing that they do. I just wish I had the chance to go party with everybody at night.
Yeah,
Never
for
got
real.
a chance to do that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some great artists that came here this time. There was like my buddy, Felix Cartel played,
Yep.
Nostalgics played,
Yep.
Loud Luxury played. Who else? Whipped Cream played.
Sick.
A lot of people they brought in. Dead Mouse, Rez.
Oof.
They bring in massive names while I was here, and I was just sitting in a hotel room. But
That
it looked like it was
sucks.
a ton of
Yeah.
fun. But yeah, I'm out this weekend, and I think I'm just gonna go up maybe Saturday and go. Stampede's over, but I'm just gonna go. I think enjoy some parts of Calgary now that I'm all healed up and ready to go. So
Have you ever been to the I think it's called the Bow Tower? It's like the tallest building in Calgary.
it's right out the window here.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I've been to the top of that. The view from up there is insane. I don't know if you've ever been up there,
Beautiful,
but holy crap.
Yeah. Well, I bet because there's water on one side and then mountains on the other, which
Yeah.
is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the mountains out here, like I was just in Canmore, Alberta, which is about an hour
Okay.
north of here, and it's like on the way to Banff, and it's just there's mountains on either side and
Yep.
lakes, and just it's stunning. It's so beautiful.
Dude, I'm from California. I live in Northern California. I'm used to like the Tahoe Sierra ranges. It's so much different. The Rockies are like you drive at like the bottom, like we're used to like going up through the mountains and stuff to get over to Nevada. But
Yeah.
the Rockies just seem like, I mean, there is a little bit of elevation change, but it's like almost like ground floor with like massive mountains around you. It's a completely different experience.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Yeah, no, I've never been to that. I haven't really experienced the Rockies enough. Like I've always been when I go to California, I'm always just like in LA or San Fran or whatever. I haven't really got a chance to see that area, but I love mountains. So like that's why like when I go to Vancouver, when I go to a gold mine is go to Switzerland and cool spots like that and check it because like I love the beauty of mountains. It's such a cool thing.
Yeah, of course. So being from Canada, how did you originally get into the music industry? What originally first got you into? I know Canada has Drake's from there and like a bunch of huge artists. There's a huge scene for music there, just like the States. But what was the original like kind of starting path for you?
Yeah, so when I was younger, like I was always more of an athlete than I was, into music. I played high level soccer and I played hockey in Canada, and yeah, I it was always more so on the athletic side. I love playing sports and doing all that fun stuff. Music to me was just kind of like I listened to a lot of it. Always just get me so excited, and I loved listening to music when I was younger. Like I got this little CD Walkman, and like I'd listen to like tapes and I mean the younger audience will not even know what a tape is, but tapes and CD. I'm an old man. Tapes and CDs and stuff like that, and literally where you have to go on the radio and like put a tape in and then hit record,
Yeah.
and then like hit stop before the commercial came, so you can and you kind of just piece it all together. That was a thing that existed back in the day.
Yeah.
Just gonna flex in my age right now, but yeah. So I used to love that, and I'd listen to a ton of music when I was a kid, and I'd sing at the top of my lungs with my little Walkman on, and you know, I loved music, but like I never would have like been able to predict the kind of path that I was gonna go down. But basically, when I was in high school. Grade 8, roughly the 8th grade. I was, I wanted something new. I wanted to try something out. And a friend of two of my other buddies, one played bass guitar, the other one played regular guitar, and they'd get together and they'd jam together. And they always would say like, and I'd go and I'd just kind of like chill and like watch them and whatever. And they just like, dude, you should take up drums. And so I remember like one day I was like, I told my parents, I'm going to take up drums. And my dad, he was like, is this going to be a fad? Is this going to be something that we're going to do? Like, am I going to pay all this money for these drums? You're not going to use them. They're going to collect dust. And I was like, no, I'm serious. Like, I swear I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So I got this kit, and I remember like I beat the hell out of it. I played every day, like all the time.
Yes.
My dad like regretted it because I ended up adding, not even just that. They liked it because the music we were making was really cool with my buddies, but it was like loud screamo, and it was like it was dope, but like not their favorite music. But we also do some melodic stuff when we were jamming, and it was really cool. But anyways, like I kept adding to the kit like new snare and new cymbals and new everything. And he really said, he's like, I should have trusted you at the beginning when you said that you are all in on this, because it ended up being so much more when I just got a dope kit at the beginning. But again, you never know. Like, I might have just hated it. You know what I mean?
True.
But I ended up just loving it. And I played in a bunch of different bands on it, like did some screamo stuff, some more indie rock stuff, like doing that. And then I just kind of like let it fall to the wayside when I went to university, college, and when I was up in Northern Ontario where there's not a lot to do. So I remember I was always that guy at the house parties where like everyone would just like hand the phone to or pass the aux, if you will, and just be like, hey, like put on your playlist or put on your music or put on whatever. And then somebody said, you should be a DJ. And I just kind of laughed that off. And then one Saturday in like my third or fourth year of college, like I drove down to visit my cousin who just bought a condo in Toronto, and I get to the condo and like he has this little controller and like desk set up in this tiny little apartment, and he has these lights that go to the beat and all these things. I was just making fun of him, and I was like, why? I was like, why do you have all these things? Like, what? Like, are you a DJ now? Like, what's going on? And then he started like playing out like Warp 1.9 by Steve Aoki, and then like Bang Duck by but then like playing like by Afrojack, and then he started playing what else? Scary Monsters, Nice Sprites when it just came out by Skrillex. All like this is like when and to be honest, I kind of looked past the fact that I thought it was funny that he was doing this, and I just like listened to the music, and I was like, oh my god, like what am I like? This is like listening to music for the first time in that era, and like I was like, oh my god, I love all of this. Can you please give me this? Like so he bundled it in a folder and he gave it to me. So I added all to my MP3 player, and like I remember just being like holy shit, I love all of this. And I started watching videos of like the live shows of like the Avicii's at Ultra, and like
R.I.P.
all R.I.P. like all these amazing artists like performing and seeing the energy at these festivals, and I'm like, holy shit, I love the party. Like this looks like so much fun. I need to go to one of these, right? So I kept saying like I kept listening to it, and I was driving my friends nuts because they were all like indie fans. They hate electronic music, and I was like, listen to this new track, and it was like this hard hitting all the time in my car, like never like not beats playing, and everyone was just like was so sick of it. But I got so many of my friends hooked on it at the same time too. So then I ended up I went on Kijiji, which is like Craigslist basically in Canada. And I met this guy in a sketchy parking lot. I bought myself one of those Vextex Typhoon, like little like mixers. And like, I locked myself away, like, and like, didn't talk to anybody for like months on end, just trying to pick up how to do it, and like doing mashups and like doing little, and like my transitions were trash. Like they were so bad, but I tried so hard to like just do it. And then I remember my buddy, like, was huge into house music, and he's like, dude, I'm going to have a kegger, and like, I want you to come over and I want you to DJ. And it was my first show. And like, I showed up and with this little controller and just played hard hitting house music that no one wanted to hear. And like, I think my payment was definitely like just a cup I could drink out of a keg for free or something like that. But yeah, I remember that. And then I went up to Sudbury back to my university. And that's when like electronic music just hit the fan. And my university that I went to, the student council president was the biggest house fan. His name's Ian Park, and the guy's just an absolute legend. And he started booking adventure clubs for like 50 people. Like he was famous. He was famous for booking an artist, but like an inch before they became massive. So he booked Adventure Club, and he put them in this little like shitty dive bar called the 1500 in Sudbury, and there's literally 55 people there.
Is that the 1500 that's in San Fran too? Is that affiliated?
Maybe, I don't know. It was this it was a shitty dive bar in Northern Ontario, and I remember seeing them play, and I was like, here, because I've heard their stuff before, and I was like, oh, and I saw them play, and they killed it, obviously, because they're Adventure Club. And then and I actually became really close to Leighton and Christian because of that. Awesome. I stayed in touch after that. But anyways, he booked them. He booked Aoki, and then he had Dubs open for them, because Dubs was just from like just north of where I was going to school. So we both kind of came up. They were in bands at that point, but they're just starting to DJ. So again, 80 people maybe there for Aoki. Then they booked Mastercraft. He booked all these unbelievable artists. And I remember just being like, and then everyone. And then what happened was he goes, "Is there anybody in Sudbury that?" like in a small town that plays house music, because I need a good opener. And my one buddy who's also in student council, who's also my roommate, was like, my roommate, that's all he plays. He's sick. Like, you get him on. So that's how, I got immediately thrown into this world, and I started opening for all these heavyweights, like all these big artists because of that. And then I ended up moving to Toronto, and after that, because I wanted to get closer to the scene, because that's like, I don't know if you ever heard of it, but Toronto had this famous club called Government. And it was known for being one of the best clubs in the world at the time. And like, it was a massive old warehouse, and there was Cool House on one side, there was Government on the other, and it just had everything. And every week they'd bring in a heavyweight, whether it be Axwell, whether it be Steve Angelo, whether it be Afrojack, whether it be Avicii, whether it be Tiesto, like Armin, you name it. Like every week, no matter what, Saturday, it had somebody. And it was like right in the midst of it. So I was there every weekend. I drive 4.5 hours every weekend to and from to try to go to these shows and just be immersed in all of it. So eventually I got to the point where I graduated, and I was like, hey, I'm moving to Toronto. Moved to Toronto, got an internship with Live Nation. And then now was completely immersed, because it was the part of a Live Nation called Electronic Nation at the time. It's no longer a thing anymore, but it was.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, and they booked all the heavies in electronic music in Canada, and I was like part of like the core team of like 4 that was on that, and it was awesome, because I got to now I was like working in it, and which was really cool. Right. But like I was still kind of DJing on the side, nothing crazy, and then I ended up, like, a buddy of mine was a promoter, and he like last minute was like, hey, I need a DJ for this thing. Like, this one guy backed out. Like, I heard you play, right? Like, do you want to just come in and just play for an hour? And I was like, yeah, I'm down. So at the time, it was like this really famous club in Toronto called the Hoxton. It was like they brought in all these like really high end, DJs and artists from all over the world. And I think I opened for Robin Schultz or something like that. I think it was like something like that. And I walked in and I played for like an hour and a half, and like I brought a bunch of people, which every promoter wants. And everyone like showed up, and like and then like I remember, he came up to me afterwards. He's like, do you want to play here more often? Like, I'll book you for a bunch of shit. I loved your set. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I started playing, and I ended up becoming the resident at this big club that just became the spot where everybody would come and see. So, my name immediately got, into the mix of things, and people were like, who is this kid? Who is this? And people were liking my sets. And, it got to the point where I was like, all right, I got to, like, if I want to not plateau here, I got to start making music. And, I went back to kind of my old roots of when I used to write music with the bands I was working with, except now had to learn it all over again in a program, and had to learn that. So I like literally went to my buddies, and my one buddy was a music engineer for like McDonald's and Porsche and shit. And like, so he let me sit in on his sessions in this unbelievable studio called Pirate Radio Studios in Toronto. And it was just, we'd sit there. I get to come after hours and like sit and just watch him work. And he kind of walked me through Logic at the beginning, and then I moved over to Ableton as things kind of progressed. But like, he was so helpful with so many things, and helped me with so much of my like, first projects and stuff like that. But yeah, man, that's basically kind of like the general overview of it. Like it's been a long road. It's not been like it's not like an overnight thing at all here. You're looking at 10 years of grinding and working side jobs and working in sales and working in marketing and working in just anything I could to try to keep the project alive. And I think it was probably up until like, I don't know, a couple of years ago that I, still was working like a 9 to 5, just trying to, and then just, touring on the weekends. And luckily all the jobs that I worked, everybody was real, like my bosses were really chill about it. Like they obviously wanted me to put my work first, but they obviously saw the passion of like what I like this is what I love doing.
Right.
And even still to this day, like they still text me and message me, just congratulating me. And if I didn't have their support, like I know a lot of bosses would be like, fuck you, you're working on this is your job, not the music kind of thing, but luckily they were young. And
I'm super fortunate with that as well. I work for Amazon, but like I only work 4 days a week. I only work 4 days a week, which is full time. I work 4 10s, but that on top of like so many like time off benefits and like, leave options and stuff like that. Like September, I'm doing Imagine and Lost Lands, and like I'm just going to take a 2-week leave. And they're like,
absolutely
with it. So
there you go.
The flexibility to be able to do your own thing and be like, quote unquote entrepreneur in a way, all artists pretty much are entrepreneurs. Like having a job that supports that is super important. So that's incredible that you're able to do that.
And I remember the
Obviously
day and I remember the day that I kind of realized that I could start doing that. And I remember just being so terrified. Being like, but I remember my buddy who's like a serial entrepreneur. The guy's just, he's done so many amazing things. He created these booze brands in Toronto, in Canada, actually, one called Colorado Springs, and his name's Dan Bartek. And basically he said to me, I want to just pick his brain because he's been an entrepreneur. He's created all these amazing food and beverage brands. And he went to me, he's like, the best thing you could possibly do, dude, is just not have a safety net.
Yeah.
And he's like, just work. He's like, now, because then your back's up against the wall and you have to work for your meals. You got to go for it. So he's like, if you just keep keep putting into the 9 to 5s and give them everything you got, you're never going to truly focus on and give yourself a true shot at success in music or entertainment or whatever you want to do on your own as an entrepreneur. And you're just going to keep making money for somebody else, not yourself.
And it should be, exactly. And it should be, even if you do like have a job or whatever, it should be like your focus should be on like, okay, what moves, this is only aiding me to like make the moves that I need to make for myself.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Like, obviously I need income to support the project, but like this isn't what I'm trying to do long term, so it's just a way to get money right now.
Exactly. So that's what he kind of basically told me, and then that was kind of like the best advice that I've ever gotten, was like, put yourself under that pressure, under the gun, and you'll end up working your ass off, which I've done. So no, it's been good.
And working weekends and nights and all that other
always. Whenever it calls, I'm always on my email, I'm always on my phone, I'm always just working at something, or whether it be just a little thing like I don't know, like today for instance, I was like deep in emails of like searching shufflers, for instance, like I want like going deep and then having emails and having contacts with like these like heavy people that I want to dance to my new record that comes out. There's never, my brain is always like working like, okay, this could be cool, but what about like randomly see a reel of this one dude who's like sick dancer, like, okay, cool. Talk to his email, they get my people in touch with his, and just, it's always something. So
I was gonna ask you, because I obviously you were the one that actually followed me on Twitter, first of all. How did you originally find me? I was just like, wow, why?
No, to be honest, I searched, there's a page, I liked what you guys were posting. I liked I listened to some of the stuff that you guys were doing, and I was like, you know what, like it's all like dance music is a community, and I think the more the merrier. Like just let's all connect each other and see what comes of it. So that's one of my favorite things about this industry as well. I mean, dance music in general is just everyone's so kind. I find everyone's like so supportive. Like no matter if you like follow or like or even you comment on one thing or you reply to somebody, even just the simplest thing, everyone's so appreciative, and you got like then like a follower for like a fan for a while.
And even if even the bigger names, like I know I try and keep up with and just comment, and like I don't expect anything from it, but I just try and throw out the support, comments and DMs and stuff like that. And it's like, I've noticed even just with that, like I get replies. I talk to like people and I'm like, how am I even talking to this person? Like, all right.
It's all fun, man. It's all love.
But I did notice on your Instagram, especially, you do have like a very like gray palette. What does that have to do with your branding? What is that? What's the reasoning for that?
So the gray, to be honest, I was having a conversation with somebody, and my buddy Mike Perot, he used to work in Monster Cat, and he basically said he's like when it comes to your social feeds, he goes, have some kind of everything should kind of, the branding should all kind of look kind of like seamlessly and work together. He's like, so find a cool thing that people will like know you for, where like if you don't do it, they'll ask you why you didn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what you want. So, and then I got to the point where I saw somebody on Instagram do that. Like my girlfriend showed me like some I don't know what, some influencer's boyfriend's sister or something that did like the gray with the swipe with the color.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is actually kind of dope because my music is, you know, if you go and see a Ryan Shepherd set,
very colorful.
You're gonna see it. It's very colorful, but also you're also gonna get a little bit of the darkness with it too.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get some hard hitting stuff. You're gonna get some stuff that you're gonna scrunch your nose up to, and you're gonna have that stank face. So that's where the darkness comes from. But then when you swipe it, you know, the next track might be a little bit more colorful, piano house, happy, you know, a little bit more like that. So we kind of like go back and forth towards the two, and that's kind of why the Instagram goes so well.
Gotcha.
Like that idea of doing the gray with the color goes so well.
I feel like it's a pretty easy thing to do because you can turn any picture into gray. So it's like,
easy. I take a photo, go into my generic Apple thing, go to mono, add a couple things, make sure it looks clean, done. Easy.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of effort. But now it's so funny. Every photographer I work with, like even like professional photographers that take like action shots of mine, will send me 2 photos. They'll send me the black and white and they'll send me the color. They already know and they're just prepped for it. But yeah, like I said, one time I just posted a color thing and like everyone's like freaking out.
Yeah.
What happened? Are you done? Are you done? Like this is. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, at least people have taken notice. It's like that repetition thing. If you keep doing it and keep doing it. And
my thing is though, like I do so much like repetitive stuff. I feel like that. Like, obviously, it is branding, but like it just feels like repetitive to me after a while. It's like, shit. Do I need to like change things up? Do I need to like make things more refreshing?
A part of me is like I've had so many people be like, you know what? I love the color photos so much more than the black and white. And I was like, I agree with you. I kind of was just like, do I just like flip it and just do color to black and white on the other side, like just to screw with people? But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I just like how you go on the page and just it's all black and white. It's nice and clean, and then you just can kind of look if you want to. Because sometimes I find if you get too much color, it's like it'll clash with different things. It just doesn't look like as good, right? Black and white just keeps it seamless.
So since your start, you've grown quite a bit. Obviously, it's been a long road, as you mentioned, but you're now an exclusive artist under Armada. You're still an exclusive artist.
So Armada and I are I released 5 records with Armada, and I loved every minute of it. I have nothing but good things to say about those guys. What happened was in Canada we have this amazing grant system, and basically the government of Canada gives money to, you know, up and coming artists to
I've heard about that.
To help fund their projects. And you know, Armada and I, we went back and forth trying to make something work with the grant. But in the long run, I think for my career and for my music and for the direction it's going, you know, I wanted to kind of try the independent route for a little while, see if I could do it and really use the funding that was given to me by the government of Canada, and Armada being an international label. It just there were so many hoops that we had to go through in order to try to make sure that I kept the grant, because I was accepted for the grant, and then you know we had to kind of do a few things, and we just didn't want to risk the losing of the grant, because there's just so much money that we could then, you know, put towards the project. So, you know, nothing but good things to say about Armada. They're an awesome label. They did so much for me over the last 5 records, especially Hello Sunday, which got over 2 million plays now, and it's still climbing. So yeah, nothing but like every time I went down there, I got a chance to go to ADE, and they took such good care of me down there. Like everything from, you know, having a Jaguar SUV vehicle with a driver that would pick me up whenever I needed to go anywhere at ADE, 24 hours a day. No, it doesn't matter. So like, you know, which is like so key in Amsterdam, because things are so separate, and like you get so lost because everything looks the same. And I was not ready to hop on a bicycle at certain times of the day. I'll tell you that. But no, and they let me DJ this one event, Armada Invites. So they basically have a nightclub inside their office, and it was me, Artie, and Bob Sinclair that played it. And it's like, if you look at that lineup, like it's like, looking back on it, it's like it's absurd that I got to play on that. But yeah, such a cool experience, you know, with 2 legends that I looked up to, you know, all the way through, and being on that lineup with them was awesome. But yeah, you know, we had some great success with the records that we put out with Armada. Steph over there, their head of A&R, is amazing. I have nothing but good things to say about her and the whole team. And yeah, you know, I'm definitely gonna do some stuff in the future with them. There's been some talks about a future record that might come out either this fall or early next year. But yeah, I mean, for now it's just kind of, you know, I'm kind of jumping around doing some independent stuff, but also we'll be definitely doing some more Armada releases in the future.
And for those of you who are listening that don't know what Armada is, it's actually Armin Van Buuren's label. So huge label and a huge international label. How did they originally discover you? What was like the early phases of that?
I owe it to Andrew Fedek from Loud Luxury, actually.
Okay.
Basically what happened was when we did Film Me In together, which is the track that we signed to After Hours, Tiesto's label.
Yep.
We had so much success with it. And then I noticed that they had a release schedule with Armada. And I was like, you know what, congrats guys, that's awesome. I was so proud of them. And I remember going to Andrew and I was like, hey, I'm looking to, try to find a contact over at Armada. Like, do you mind linking me? And Andrew was like, so quick. He'd be like, yep, no problem. Immediately goes on, finds her head right on email to me. And the guy's like, Ryan, of course I know who you are. Love your music. Send me a bunch of music. So I sent him, I think it was like 4 or 5 records. He responded like within like 3-4 days, and it was like, we love this one. I played at the A&R meeting. They love it. We're like, we'd love to sign it. And that was it. And literally, like we started with that one. We did Make It Bounce. Then we did what was after that one? We did Make It Bounce. We did oh my god, my memory is horrible. We did one, and then we did Who's Gonna Love You? Yeah, was the second one. Yep. Then we did Don't Hold Me Down, Drinking in LA, and then we did Hello Sunday. And then we did with one remix thrown in between that, and we have a Lush Dance remix as well. Sick. So those are the 6 records technically with the remix that we did together, and then like I said, we might have one more coming up very soon, which is great.
You've been on tour with Loud Luxury a couple years ago, right?
We did. We were in 2019, the fall of 2019. We did. I joined them for. It's kind of shitty because like I joined them for like the latest of the tour. Yeah. They did like 200 and something dates, man. It was absurd. Shit. It was wild how many dates they did, or like something like that. I don't know what. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's like the way that they were at the way they were talking, it was 200 something dates. But nuts. I joined them at the end of the tour, and they were so like I'm not gonna say burnt out, but they were just like, okay, let's get this tour done. You know what I mean? And so I showed up like, guns a-blazing, like, boys, let's party. Like, went right in the fridge, grabbed the bottle of tequila, bottle, whatever, let's party. And they're just like sitting there staring at me. Like, no, absolutely not. They just come off playing down in, I don't know where it was. They played like this after party at this frat, and they were so hungover. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, I caught them right at the end of it. But they were still amazing sports, like they always are. They get in the zone like that. And no, it was such a good time. We did North Carolina, South Carolina. And I did a bit of Florida with them. Okay, cool. And it was awesome. Like we had Dzeko on the tour with us. Yeah. So it was all of us. We just played FIFA and Smash Bros the whole time on the bus. Dude,
I feel like that's like a lot of tour stories. It's like, we just hang out and play video games, man. We go play.
Basically it. Show each other just hilarious stuff that we're making. Like I think there's one moment, like Andrew will attest to this too. They sampled one of the photographers like farting or something like in his sleep, and then created it into this like absurd like Future House record that was like they took all the Future House samples they could possibly find and like converted it into like the drop. And it's one of the funniest things. Like they woke up in the morning and I remember just hear them giggling because I was sleeping on the bus. I was like, what do you guys, because they're in the back room in the studio area, and there's like laughing, and I was like, what are you guys doing? And they showed me the track in the morning and just dying laughing. You just do stupid shit like that. But it was such a good time. It was like my first ever bus tour, which is, if you haven't been on a bus, like sleeping in a bunk, it's something to get used to because like, it's like getting, like if you're a light sleeper,
I've never done it, but I've heard stories.
If you're a light sleeper, like good luck because like you're, because the first night I'm on this top bunk, and like I'm getting thrown like because every right turn or every like whatever your bus is moving. Yeah. So like if you're I was getting thrown. It took me a while to get used to it. It took me like 2 or 3 sleeps to like finally get used to the actual action of it. But no, it was such a good time. The crowds were amazing because this is when like Body by Loud Luxury was like at its like peak. Yes. And so the whole world like knew the song, and every venue we went to, everyone would chant it and go crazy. And so no matter which club we went to, no matter like I'd have like the earlier slots too, and it was still slammed. so I got so many great followers and so many amazing people that still from those areas are like, when are you coming back? We'd love to see you again. Like, so dying to get back to the US and get playing again because that was such a good time.
We're gonna have to have you out to Sacramento maybe.
Oh,
I
I'd
would
love
to have you.
to.
Yeah,
Would love to.
love to have you out
That'd
here.
be a lot of fun.
We have
Let's do it.
I work for. I'm pretty plugged in with all the local production companies, so
Cool.
I'll talk with those guys and see if we
Yeah,
can
let's do it,
up.
man. Honestly, more the merrier. I mean,
Right?
in the fall, it's like I want things as things open up. Like, let's get back to it as honestly as much as possible. I want to have one of those 230 date schedules, 100%. You know.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned Body by Loud Luxury. I remember the first year that I went to Hard Summer, which was in 2018. I forget do you know the release date on that song or what year they released that?
The song came out in summer 2018.
Okay,
like
so that
early
was
summer 2018.
That was right. Okay, so Hard Summer is like August, so that was like right, probably a month or two after it was released, and they like played it there, and like for like, even still to this day, the people that I was there with. And the vibe that song set when they played it, like that was like probably the most memorable moment of that festival. So I love that song.
It's such honestly, I remember Andrew FedEx sent it to me, and because we'd always send each other stuff back and forth, and he sent me that record. I remember in like a WAV file on SoundCloud, and I remember just being like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
I listened to it once, and I had to listen to it again. And then I went for a walk to go get coffee because I was at the studio, and I remember just being like, "Holy fuck, this is massive!"
Yeah.
And I remember like I called. I didn't even text him. I called him, and I said, "Dude, do you know what this is? Like, do you know what you just did?" Like, and he goes, like we're not sure about it. Like we're
this
like
song's gonna put you on the map, man.
I'm like, dude, please. Don't touch it because I know like so many producers like myself you just tinker away at a record and never put it out.
Yeah.
He's like yeah, we're not sure. We think this is gonna be the one. We'll see. And I was like, dude, get this out immediately.
Yeah, right now.
and I remember like even me going home that day, like I was biking and like I even put it back on because it was so catchy and I'm like, oh my god, this is such a smash. And then I watched it it started off a little bit slow and then it just ramped, just took off, and then they re-released it again, so it hit all the playlists again, and you can see by the numbers that they're about to hit 1 billion, which is crazy.
Holy
it's
shit.
1 billion. It's done 1 billion. It's done 1 billion total streams, but Spotify alone, they're about to hit 1 billion, which is proud of them. So proud of those guys. And like we started off, in the same kind of boat. Them and I, like they came in from London, Ontario. I was just outside of Toronto.
Oh, they're from Canada as well?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
And we were both residents at this little tiny club called Tattoo in Toronto, and like we would take turns opening for artists that came in. So it'd be Loud Luxury opening for Dr. Fresh. It would be Ryan Shepherd opening for Sunburn. Like what I mean? Like it would be like that. We'd interchange weeks, which was hilarious. And then all of a sudden they started getting a little bit bigger, and then and then we did our track together, and then they just took that and ran with it, which is great.
What did you go to college for?
I went to school for teaching, believe it or not.
Okay.
So I went to school for teaching. I have my full teaching degree. I can teach from grade 4 to 12. like that, which is terrifying if you think of it that way. And then after that, I supply teach for a little while and realized this wasn't for me. And then I went back to school for sport and event marketing at a place called George Brown in Toronto downtown, like a little more like a post grad diploma.
Gotcha.
And that's where I got the internship with Live Nation, and then I got a job with Live Nation after that.
Sick. Yeah, I'm actually I've just so you know this, most of my listeners, this is brought up a lot, but I'm actually going to be going to the music business program at Icon Collective next year.
Nice. Good for you, man.
Yeah. So
it's exciting.
That's why I was asking with, we were talking about, I forget what you said that brought that up, but that's what I'll be going to school for next year. So
it's exciting stuff. It's always like, if I look back on it, like, of course, like teaching was always like something I was interested in, but like, I didn't love it. You know what I mean? Like you're going to go to school for something, you're going to spend the money, you're going to get into it. Dude, you got to love it.
Yes.
You got to love
Absolutely.
it. So the passion has to be there. Like you got to love it. So like that now, like I tell so many people this, and like I spoke in my old high school and I just said, like, if you're not ready, like don't let someone force you into going to do a geography degree or something just because you're in university now. Like, don't do it as like not there's anything against geography. I'm just saying like don't just go do something for the sake of I'm in university because all my friends are going to university.
Well, you're going to spend the rest of your life unhappy in your career field. Like go 100%,
100%. And go for it. Spend the money that you would that first year.
Yeah.
Go travel, meet like a cool entrepreneur, let's say in like I don't know, like Europe or something, and start it and find your calling, because or if you found it in your grade 12 year or last year, absolutely go do your thing. But my one thing the advice I give to everybody is do not rush it. Not rush. It's your life and your career, because you're gonna look back on it and be like, I just spent 6 years, and what did I get out of it? Like look, that's what I did. I spent 5 years, and I had the best moments of my life because I met some of the best people I've ever met. But like, if you were to ask me one thing about human kinetics or the human body or like the labs that I did or anything, no, I couldn't even tell you the prof names, man. I couldn't none of that stuff. So
that's that. I know. I graduated when I was 17. I started college when I was 17 because my birthday's in September. I started in August, and I failed like my first year completely almost. I was like going to school, trying to do a bunch of different stuff, and then I took some time off, and I was like, dude, I need to stop for a minute. Needed to give myself a break. That break allowed me to start working for production teams and working in the music industry. I was like, okay, now I know what I want to go to school for, and there's actually an option for that. So I'm just about to finish up with my associates in marketing and then Icon next year. So I'm glad that I took the time off, and I'm actually glad that I failed a lot of those classes because it forced me to stop.
You learn, man, because then you learn. It's not what you want to do.
Yeah. So I before we wrap this up, I did want to talk about everything with the Hello Sunday project that you've done. Obviously, amazing song. That's honestly, I said in the Econova, I played it in the Econova episode. I don't know if you listened to that or not, but I called it my summer anthem. Every year I have last year it was Martin Garrix and who did that? Macklemore's song. You know the song I'm talking about? I forget the name.
Yeah.
So I love that summertime feel. And when you put out this song, I heard this song for the first time. I was like, oh, dude, summer anthem this year, man.
So that's the thing is we kind of looking back on it. Like I wish. Well, okay, I'll give you the whole story behind it. But basically, with Hello Sunday, what happened was I'm signed to Armada Publishing. So they handle when it comes to top lines and stuff like that. They send me top lines of artists and vocalists and stuff like that. So get a hold of them if you want to work with me on a vocal. But anyways, so I got this random. So my publisher, his name's Stein. He sent me this vocal, and the beginning of it, this girl starts rapping, and I'm like, oh. I was like, and I was like, okay, and like it was cool British accent, kind of like I was like, oh, I might be able to do something with this, kind of like housey and like cool, whatever. And then all of a sudden, this chorus comes in, and no, banging, and she starts going in, and I was like, holy shit! I pressed stop on it. I pretended like the rap wasn't there, and I was like, okay, let me listen again. And I kept listening to it, and then I'm in the studio. And I'm like kept playing it over, and so I chopped the part out, kept putting it on loop on my computer, and then the engineer that works beside me, like in the studio, came and knocks on the door, and he was just like, "What the fuck is this?" and I was like, "Dude, how good is it?" And he's like, "I need to he's like, "What are you gonna do with it?" And I was like, "It has to be happy, right? Like it has to be happy." He's like, "It has to be. You can't make this dark." So I'm sitting there and I started working on it, hated it. So I just shelved it. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I couldn't find a good direction to take it. Couldn't do it. So then I start playing a few shows, and then it's beginning of 2020. It's about, I think it's like February or just the beginning of March, and COVID hits. Full blown, bam, done, world shut down, everything. So I'm like, okay, well, the only thing I can do here, since we're in lockdown, is just go work. Yeah. So I'm working on other music. I'm working on records. I keep getting sent stuff. I'm working on tons of projects. I'm finding it's so hard to just be creative because everyone's kind of shut down. Everyone's not doing anything. There's no end in sight. There's no you know what I mean? Like there's no the pandemic's just starting. Everyone's freaking out.
Yeah.
So I took a break from
nothing how it is now and how it adjusted.
No. So, exactly. So I took a break from the studio. I need to try to figure out how I can stay, to keep just the ideas flowing, because I was like, I had no motivation. I was like, oh my God, this sucks. So anyways, I was like, you know what? I can't think like this. Get back in the studio, work your ass off just to get ahead, because for the first time ever, it put every artist on even playing field, basically. Yeah. It lets you just, get ahead now. Because before you could never get ahead. You're always chasing someone, right? Yeah. So I went in the studio, started messing around, and like, I don't know what it was that day, but I was listening to something on my bike in the studio, and like it was like super like I love old school house music. I love piano house. I love that style of stuff, and because it's so hard to, it's like hate proof. You can't hate that shit. Like it's like it makes you feel a certain type of way. And it makes you feel good. So, anyways, I started getting in and working on keys and stuff like that. And like I'm not very good on piano, to be honest with you. And I'm in there with my engineer, and like we're sitting there, and like I was like I had this idea of it, and he's like what, and he's like, and then he kind of sat with me and we started working on it together. And like I started piecing the piano parts together, and then I was like, oh my god, it's beautiful. And then it just started going in, and then you could feel it, it starting to come out. And I was like, it's happening. Started working, and then like it got to the point where it's like he looked over at me and he goes, holy fucking shit. He goes, this is huge. He's like, it's huge. And then, you know, Caitlin Scarlett, the vocalist, just did an outstanding job with the vocal. And like, all I wanted to do was, I was so scared that I wasn't going to compliment the vocal because the vocal's so good. As a producer, you get in there, you're like, and you just have the acapella. You're like, I was like shitting my pants. I'm like, just do it justice, Ryan. Please just do it justice. And
no pressure.
Like, sure enough, no pressure. But no, I remember like I went to this, and then like, you know, we started having like smaller gatherings of people in the summer, and I brought it out randomly. And I like to do this sometimes with my music at parties, is, you know, because everyone relies on me to put music on. But I put a playlist on, and then like I'll sneak a track in that's my own that I'm working on without telling anyone at a little get together or something that like no one's really paying attention, just to see if it stops people. If someone's like, what is this? You know what I mean? Like I do it all the time to see if it's the best way to get feedback. Because you're like, because somebody might be like, what the shit is this? Like turn this off. And you're like, okay, well I gotta change some stuff up. So little secret. But like, sure enough, I put this on at this little like house party that I had at the time. And everyone like, yo, what is this? Everyone stop. What is this? I need this song. What is this? Yo, is this on Spotify? What is this? Like everyone coming up to me.
No, it's unreleased.
And I was like, yo, this is the new one. And then yeah, man, everyone got so excited, which made me so excited about it. And then, you know, it took a little bit. Cause like I said, I got this grant approved, and then we're trying to talk to Armada to figure out what we're going to do. And we decided not to go through the grant with Hello Sunday. We're just going to hold off.
Right.
And then we released it with Armada. And like, it had been since February, since my last release. We're now looking at November. And I was like, let's just get this out. Just get this out. Right. Cause I was like, I can't like no longer sit. Cause to be honest, no one was releasing music. Like it was one of those like dark days where like everything was like, whatever. But I was like, you know what? Let's put some light in some people's lives here.
Here's some sunshine.
Here you go. We released it in November, which like now looking back on it, like I wish we kind of would have waited a little bit. Cause like if we were to release that in, let's say, March or April of like, I think now, we probably would have had a little bit more, I think, love towards it.
Right.
But we still got tons of playlist love. Like shout out Spotify. They like put me on the cover of Mint Canada, and like they gave the track so much love.
Damn. And
like it's still climbing like crazy. But what's nice is that this summer I think a lot of people discovered it for the first time rather than them hearing it before. So I
didn't even discover it till now anyway.
Exactly.
A couple months ago.
So we got this wave of people that hearing it for the first time in the summertime, which is what we wanted. And now we're seeing it jumped to 2 million way faster than it got to 1 million. and now it's just like rolling. So you know, it's doing really well. And what's really nice too is I have a follow-up record coming out July 30th. It's called All the Way Down. And it's, again, piano house meets my like hard hitting shit. So it's like really dope. It's my like homage to house music. It's like, it's a beautiful, beautiful record. It's like old MK meets like my Ryan Shepherd sound meets like old school house in Chicago, like really cool shit. And the vocalist is D'Angelo Lacey, who goes by Black Gatsby, who's on Lost You by ZZ. Amazing vocalist. If you haven't heard Lost You, go listen to it. It's beautiful. He does such a good job. And I sent him, you know, the instrumental, an instrumental. He wrote to it, and I listened to it, and I was like, you know what? I love this instrumental. And I love his vocal, but I don't know if they go together. I was like, so I took the vocal off and I created this new song around the instrumental. Sorry, that's around the vocal. And I sent it back to him, and he goes, what the hell did you do? I thought he was pissed. And he was like, no, this is dope. I love this. And then we started talking about doing it. I flew down to Arizona and then to LA to visit him. We finalized it. We did a bunch of photo shoots, stuff like that. And like, we're ready, man. It comes out 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it's already got love from Garrix and from Hardwell.
So when everyone is listening to this, it'll be 1 week from the date, basically, because this comes out next week. So
Perfect.
yeah.
There you go. So yeah, man, it's a big one, and I'm so excited about it. Go listen to it, because it's like well, honestly, it's gonna make. I said it in a tweet, and I said it on Instagram. I said that my next record will make your summer significantly better.
Yes.
And honestly, if this song doesn't do that, I expect like you to direct message me and tell me that it did not improve your summer, because honestly, there's something about this record that it's hard. It's so hard not to dance to it and feel good. So it's such a good follow up for Hella Sunday, and I think a lot of people are gonna really like it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I always ask this question. Last question before we head out of here. What do you do in your personal life outside of the music industry? I know that's your full time job now, but what do you? do for, like personal fun time?
Personal fun time. To be honest, like this is gonna sound really bad, but I just love going to patios and like drinking with friends. Like I love to enjoy, because Canada we get 3 to 4 months max a year of just sunshine and nice weather, and like so everyone comes out of hibernation, because they're in hibernation for 8 months of the year. And everyone comes and everyone's out and doing stuff in parks or going to cottages and doing like, cause that's something I love, like, water sports and stuff like that, and going up north and getting away from the shit in the city sometimes.
Do you wakeboard or ski?
I do. I wakeboard.
Sick. Me too.
I water ski. Everything, man.
Yeah, I grew up. My grandpa actually, he's a wakeboard and ski boat mechanic. He does custom stereo installs. He does storage, all that kind of stuff. He has he has probably 5 or 6 brand new G23s in his shop. Like he out of the Bay Area. So I grew up around that stuff. So awesome that you do that.
I might get my dad maybe one day if he's ever close to Canada to come to my dad's boat, because my dad's boat's awesome, and we're actually looking at systems to put in it anyways.
Get a wet sound.
Yeah, man,
get a wet sound.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. But no, I love just water sports. Love snowboarding. Sweet. I still skate. I used to skateboard when I was a kid, like a lot, and then I just, as of like last summer, brought out my skateboard again and like started skating. And like you don't realize like how like much your body, like it takes a while to get back into it and warmed up again.
Yeah.
But like once you do, like skateboarding is so much fun. It hurts to slam. It hurts to slam a lot.
That's why I like water sports.
A little bit less. But yeah, no, I'd say those are my like top things. So like just hanging with friends and just like going and just trying to get my mind off of music sometimes, because it kind of takes over everything of my brain, like all the time, whether it be marketing, like the next record, or hearing a sound that I'm like, you know what, I kind of fuck with this, right? I could do something with this, or, it's nice to just kind of turn my brain off once in a while and not think about music. But those are definitely some things that I do that are a lot of fun.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.